This shoe right here sells for $300. This one right here sells for $400. And Marcus over there sells over $500,000 worth of shoes every single month. No silver spoon, no trust fund, and surprisingly, it all started with selling items that you and I overlook every day. You want to find out? Let's go talk to Marcus. So obviously you are making a ton of cash being 20 years old only. But before we get to that, you guys, tell us how you got into this industry. It's very unique. What can you highlight for us?
From the beginning, I would say it all started online, really. I was selling stuff around my house. My parents told me I needed to either get a job or do something over the summer. So I decided to just sell their old stuff around the house, whatever's laying around, you know, extra clothes, whatever it might be. And that's how I kind of got into selling stuff online. I wasn't really interested in whatever I was selling. That was my parents' stuff. So I was interested in sneakers at the time. So it started as a hobby and I decided, you know what, maybe let me try, you know, making money selling sneakers online. And that's how I started.
How old were you when they first told you need to go make some cash?
I was 14. They really honestly,
they were just for you.
Well, they just wanted me to you know, be occupied. They didn't want me to just be on my phone, you know, or watching TV all summer, you know?
Video games.
Video games, exactly, yeah.
What was the first pair of sneakers that you sold? Do you remember?
The first pair of sneakers is a pair of foam posits, a Yeezy colorway, foam posit Yeezys they're called.
How much you sell them for?
I think around $300, man.
What'd you profit?
Maybe like $50, I think, at the time, yeah.
Was it what kind of feeling were you experiencing back then?
It was a crazy feeling because it was like the first time I realized that I could like actually like make money off of what I liked.
That was the light bulb came on. Kind of a moment.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Awesome. Well said. Well, I definitely want to check out the Hyp wall in detail. So let's go check that out.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Well, tell me about this wall. Kind of what inspiration went into creating it? How involved were you, and anything else?
So this wall, we wanted to make the experience different than any sneaker store like ours. We wanted people to walk in and be like, wow, this is cool. Shoes are floating, you know, you got this huge wall. And
yeah, it definitely makes you stand out.
Stand out for sure.
So this is the $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 wall per se.
So this is actually, I mean, there's a lot of exclusive stuff here, but we'll go over there later. That wall over there is the really exclusive high-end collaboration stuff that's $500, $1,000, $2,000 sometimes. So we'll get into that later.
With the shoes literally just floating
just spinning,
in the air.
man. Yeah, you already
I
know.
wonder what in the world's going on at the store. What's motivating you to do this stuff at 13, 14? Because that's really unusual.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, honestly, I loved sneakers at the time. Like I said, it was one of my hobbies. But as you know, sneakers are expensive. So, you know, in order for me to get the sneakers that I wanted, obviously I had to have the money. You know, my parents would only buy me so many sneakers. So I wanted to collect sneakers on my own, and I wanted to use the profits from the business to buy myself sneakers.
Simple motivation,
right?
Yeah,
pretty much money, yeah.
Well, you guys, remember, social media is the backbone of his success, right? And it took you years to develop it to where you are today. So if you want to find out those secrets that have been developed over years, stay tuned. Let's go check out the back office. We want to show you what it takes to make this happen.
Let's see it.
Let's talk about Supreme. How did you land the first customer, their involvement, kind of in your world of growing as a business entrepreneur?
So that was actually from the very beginning. Like I mentioned, over the summer when I was selling stuff around the house, that's how I actually got into more my niche and my hobby of sneakers and clothing. So I remember a buddy told me about this new brand called Supreme, and they basically release all these clothing and accessory items every single week. And he said, like, yeah, if you're able to purchase these for retail price when they release, you'll be able to flip sometimes double your money.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, okay, let me check it out. So I started that. Obviously, I had a few months of experience online, you know, selling stuff on eBay. And the first drop, I remember I went on my phone Thursday morning, 11 o'clock. If you resell sneakers or clothing, you know this feeling. You get on the website, you try to get whatever you can. At that point, anything they dropped was reselling.
Really?
Maybe not as much now, but...
Seriously? Like you buy something and instantly somebody else is reselling it already?
I kid you not, the first week I remember, I bought this jacket. And I bought it was maybe like $200, right? And at that time, I listed it on eBay. I didn't have the item in my hands because it obviously hadn't shipped it. I just bought it. And I posted the email confirmation because that was a popular thing. People would sell their order, their confirmed order. So I listed it and I sold it within an hour.
For how much?
Doubled my price, doubled my profit. Sold it for $400.
Obviously, the company can't do that because they're the ones creating the hype and you're profiting off of it.
For sure. I mean, they make the whole idea of it again. It's supply and demand. You know, talked about it. The whole idea of it, it's supply and demand. So they were releasing limited supply. Obviously, there was a huge demand for Supreme at that time. It was one of the most popular brands. And my buddy told me about it. I took advantage of it. And that's kind of how I started flipping things like in my niche.
And the first customer of a Supreme product was the eBay?
eBay, yeah. I just literally posted a confirmation on eBay and it sold.
So Marcus, tell us about this wall, dude. I've never seen anything like it. I was walking over here and I was like, hanging shoes. What's in between? I mean, it's freaky if you look at it.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's like the first thing people say when they walk in here usually is like, how are they floating? What's going on here? Like a cool experience in here that's unlike any other store. You're looking at it, it's almost like an exhibit, you know?
So why don't you think other stores do that? Is this just a cost question?
I don't think it's a cost question, no. I think it's more of a
display their shoes this way.
I think it's a creativity aspect. People are always worried about the money and like just selling and the inventory, and that's all important, obviously. But I think a big part of it is, again, creating the experience for the customer.
Yeah, dude, that's pretty cool. Like I said, I've never seen anything like this anywhere but here.
Thank you.
So expect some rip-off and duplication to happen.
Maybe. Hey man, you know who did it first?
Yeah. How much were you generating gross revenue when you were in college?
So at that point, it was right around $4 million in revenue a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Gosh, do your friends know that? Like, you guys going to college, having a business on the side, generating $4 million? That's pretty serious.
I like to kind of keep it to myself in terms of numbers, you know, try to keep it low key, but
that's smart.
We're on YouTube now, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, here's a quick shocker. Over 81% of you who watch us have not subscribed. So hit the subscribe button now and we both win. Our channel grows, so does the caliber of our guest. Is that a deal? Do it right now. Thank you. What was the biggest bulk deal that you secured? One of your first?
One of my first bulk deals.
Dollar volume, yeah.
Air Forces, I would say, is like kind of a standard in our business. It's like one of the staples of the sneaker business. I've probably sold a couple hundred pairs, maybe 300 pairs at the time. They were going for around maybe $90. So nothing like a crazy bulk purchase, maybe like 30, 40,000, something like that.
Okay, that was one of your first?
Yeah.
What was one of the biggest ones so far?
This is my biggest one. It was 2,000 at once.
2,000
so it was like
pairs.
Basically a whole truckload of Air Forces, and the thing with that is I had them all pre-sold before they even came to me. So I was with my connections, I was able to find a vendor for them at a cheap price and resell them to another buyer I had.
Can you give us the dollar amount of the purchase roughly?
Sure. I mean, 2,000 pairs. If I had to guess at the time, I can't remember exactly, but maybe purchased at like $80 a pair in bulk. So that's about 160,000.
Yeah.
And with Air Forces and some wholesale deals, the margins aren't crazy, but again, when you're working with bigger numbers, the profits are bigger. So Air Forces can expect to make $5 to $10 a pair.
Tips on securing that, whether you're paying cash for the bulk purchase or you're financing, how does that look like for you?
So sometimes I'm able to leverage credit from my vendors that I'm buying from. Let's say someone I've known for a while, that I've done business with them before, they'll extend me credit of over a few weeks or maybe 30 days, 60 days, something like that.
Okay, that
There's
makes sense.
other options. I mean, you can always obviously pay cash. That's for big bulk deals like that. Credit, you can have a credit line with a bank when you're buying online on retailers. So yeah, there's a lot of different ways you can finance a deal like that.
Gotcha, okay. Obviously, you've been incredibly successful selling on eBay, Instagram, and so forth, but what if I'm not in Miami, but I want to buy a pair of these shoes?
We actually have everything here in our store on our website, online.
So you have an online platform?
Yep.
Okay. Well, while we're on the subject of e-commerce, let's take a quick detour and talk about the sponsor for today, .store domains. Marcus, what's your domain for the business?
Right now, it's hypmiami.com.
So hypmiami.com, not a bad domain, but what if it was hype.store? Instantly, people would know that you're an online store, right?
Right, yeah.
A .store domain isn't just a URL, it's a statement that you're in the online business and it helps you sell more. And get this, there's data to back that up. Double the impressions, 1.7 times the clicks, and 12% less acquisition as compared to .com. Just recently, Mr. Beast made the switch to .store himself. His website gets millions of views, and he wouldn't make the switch unless he saw tremendous value in it. He's in good hands. Rihanna, Ronaldo, Discord, and from the looks of it, Marcus here as well. If you're selling online, .store is where you want to be. You can go buy one from any domain register like GoDaddy or Namecheap, or you can go directly to go.store and take advantage of the incredible offer that they're offering the UpFlip viewers. Use the code UpFlipStore at checkout or go to go.store/UpFlip and the first year of your domain will be 99 cents. You can also hit the link in the description below. Dude, well, we've seen your store, we've seen the back office, which isn't really much, right? No. But you operate this business out of your home, out of your apartment.
Yeah, there's a lot of places I operate from, so.
So why don't we take our audience to your apartment, check that out,
no, let's do that,
go from there.
Sure.
So come with us, you guys. We're gonna head out to his apartment. Awesome, dude. So this is your apartment.
Yes, sir.
Tell us anything unique about the location and kind of what's going on here.
So we're in Coral Gables, Florida. It's like Miami, South Miami. I originally came here actually for school. University of Miami is right down the road. And I actually saw an opportunity down the street as well in Coconut Grove to open a store, which we were just at.
Nice. Okay. So this is, you don't have an office or anything, obviously, and this is kind of where things happen back end, right? For
Pretty
the
much.
company. Let's talk about your first convention or sneaker convention experience. Kind of talk to us about what you've learned there, what happened, and so forth.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was 15. I first started my business, and I was getting into it a little bit, and I saw there was a local convention. It's about an hour away. I didn't have a driver's license at the time.
That's
so
crazy.
as everyone does, I asked my dad, I said, Dad, can you drive me to this convention?
Daddy, I need a ride.
Yeah, and he was like, yeah, I'll take you. So I took whatever money I had at the time that I made from selling, probably a couple $1,000.
Okay, that's
cash.
all you had.
Cash is king at these events. And I was this little 15-year-old kid, not confident, never negotiated in person. Yeah.
No prior experience, never read books, watched podcasts, whatever, or listened to.
Everything I'd done at that point was through the internet, talking to people, so nothing was in person. So I went to the event. My goal was to bring whatever I had. I brought all my inventory. I mean, wasn't crazy at the time, maybe 10, 20 pairs. And yeah, I brought it. I wanted to sell it and then buy other stuff as well.
So tell me about the first negotiation experience. What was that like? What did you learn from it?
So the first negotiation experience was interesting. I saw these pairs, I remember vividly. I think it was 3 pairs of Yeezys, blue tint Yeezys. They had just come out, and I wanted pairs because I thought they would go up in value. So I actually wanted to buy them from the seller that had a whole table set up. I told my dad, I said, can you come up to him and tell him I want to pay this price? Because I was too scared to do it myself.
Okay.
And my dad taught me a pretty valuable lesson. He was like, no, you can do it yourself. Get the confidence, go ahead. I'm gonna be standing right here, don't worry. You know what prices you want to pay, you're sharp, go up there and negotiate with him. So he stood back, I went up to the guy, we negotiated back and forth, we ended up closing a deal. I bought all 3 pairs, came back to my dad with a stack of shoes, and I was really happy.
All right, Blitz time. Thank you guys for submitting your questions. First one is from Cash Out Plug. How did you manage to make more sales and expand profits when starting out?
I would say I've scaled my business numerous ways, just meeting more and more people, opening up to newer brands, I would say, is a big one. Is following the trends. That's what I'll say.
Cool. From Le Parisco, what bots, quote unquote, do you use to trick the system on limited release drops that allow him to check out quickly?
So bots is a big thing in the sneaker industry. People frown upon it. I personally don't know why. We use our resources how we can. Yuri's a big one that does all of that. To be honest, I'm not really personally involved with that, but yeah, he uses software and bots to basically get mass quantity. That's how he was able to supply me for so long.
From Zachary Eaton 7760, I've bought and sold shoes since I was 15 for side money from my main 9-to-5 job. How did you make the transition to doing it full time?
As soon as you keep growing your network and your community, naturally there's going to be more people that are going to be selling to you, going to be buying from you. And like I said, there's ways to scale your business with different kinds of financing. When you're doing it for a long time, people trust you, that kind of thing.
Cool. Abdullah's asking, how important is being master of your mind and emotions as a business owner? Some tips.
Oh, that's a good one. I would say it's a tough thing when you're running your business because people say, oh, I want to quit my 9-to-5, but you don't realize that when you do that, you actually basically make it a 24/7 thing.
Right.
There's a lot that goes into running a business, and that doesn't stop at a certain time, right? There's never a time where there's nothing to do, ever. So.
Yep. Okay. At Kamara, is he buying fakes and selling them for authentic resale price? I just don't see that's possible without a plug.
Yeah, definitely don't sell fakes. We would be making a lot more money if we were. There is a lot of fakes out there. You have to be careful. You have to be knowledgeable about what you're looking at. There's resources out there to help you spot fakes and make sure you don't. There's apps out there to get knowledgeable about it.
Okay, a couple more from Lifestyle Apparel Brands. I'm really bad at purchasing shoes online and never wearing them until years later. Does anyone else have this problem?
I mean, people collect sneakers. I mean,
it's okay to do, right?
Yeah, the regular person might not think, oh, sneakers, it's just a shoe. But a lot of people hold collections and actually do hold them brand new. They go up in value over time. So sometimes it'll sit in your closet and
not a bad
you're sitting on a gold mine.
Okay, last one from Kurtenberger 703 says that it's typical for UpFlip to use these clickbaits saying $500 a month income figure, because that's what we've been talking about.
Yeah.
And he says, get real. If it's too good to be true, it's probably not. So is it good to be true, Marcus? That's the question. Are you being honest with us about your numbers?
I'm definitely being honest. I can even show you some of the numbers. I'm not going to show you on camera just out of privacy, if I'm being honest.
Right,
but
that's okay.
Being truthful about it. Again, these numbers are revenue. People think that whatever this number on the screen is what I'm taking home at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I take a salary, obviously, but like I said, most of my profit is being reinvested into my business. So these numbers that I'm talking about, they're being reinvested into the business to continue to grow and grow and grow. All right, so yeah, welcome to my little office right here.
Humble beginnings,
Yep.
or
This is where all the magic happens. Nothing crazy.
Magic in business. Awesome, dude.
Yeah.
I'm curious, so far, you're in your 20s.
Yeah.
20 specifically, right? Mm-hmm. What regrets or maybe opportunities to learn have you already lived through as a business owner?
Yeah.
Being in this for 5+ years, whether it was personal, business, or anything else?
Honestly, I would say the media side of things. So I've learned the value of that very recently over the past year or so. So I've been doing this obviously actually 6 years now. And I've only started really taking the media seriously about a year ago. And I've seen the value already pay for itself over the last year. You know, if I started 6 years ago doing the video stuff, obviously I'd be a lot more successful in that end.
All right, dude. Well, I think we've seen enough of your apartment. There's not a lot to see besides the office, right?
Not much.
That's truth be told. So let's get some fresh air. Let's go check out the outside of the apartment, hang out there, and continue the conversations.
Let's do it.
Sweet. Dude, I'll follow you out. All right, so you're going to conventions, you're setting up at conventions, you're selling whatever you've got once you're there. At that time, Marcus, are you thinking, this is a big business, I need to pursue it, or is it kind of just funny money, if that's a way to say it?
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. Honestly, at that point, to me, it was just a side hustle. It was a way for me to pay for the shoes that I wanted for myself or whatever else I wanted at that time. But yeah, just a side hustle.
So at that point, never did you think that you'd be here 5-6 years later?
No, absolutely not. No.
$500,000 a month. That's nuts, dude. No. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And back then, how did you find your first customers initially?
Social media. I've talked about it before. I mean, you can even go on my Instagram and scroll all the way back. You can see the journey, what it took, of how I slowly scaled my business from the beginning. And it was just meeting people online, making connections, and yeah.
So it was all social media, heavy focus. Here's who you are. Here's what you're selling.
Yeah.
That's the beginning of it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I started with literally raffling off stickers on Instagram Live. I would have 10 spots and charge $2 a spot and randomly select one, and this guy would win. And started with stickers and got into clothing and sneakers, and yeah.
I have no money. I want to get into business. What is your advice as a 20-year-old?
I would say, if you know Gary Vee is a popular influencer online, he always talks about selling stuff around the house that you have for some extra cash and then getting into something. That's how I started, just selling stuff around the house. Maybe you sacrifice the PlayStation, $500, and like I said, you don't really need much to start. You could take a few $100, go to one of those sneaker conventions, and buy one pair of shoes, flip it onto the next, and just keep going.
See, the reason we ask that question, I think, is because people sometimes think, oh, I don't have any money, therefore I really can't start any business.
Right.
Whoa, woe was me kind of a deal. But it's you're living proof here that you can be 13 and sort of starting a side hustle which transforms into millions and millions of dollars a year.
100%. Listen, it's not going to be hundreds of thousands right away. Of course, you got to start with one pair, and from one pair you get two, and from two pairs you keep going.
Yep. Tell me the first 3 or 4 steps you took, specific ones, to get into wholesaling.
So
phone calls, emails, who did you look for? What had happened?
So basically, a lot of the times how it works, I'm not sure if you're familiar with sneaker culture, sneaker drops is when sneakers release for retail, let's say on Adidas or Nike, they're pretty limited. They release a limited amount, which creates the hype, as we call it. That's kind of why I named it that, but there's limited supplies. So when it drops initially, you're only able to get a few pairs here and there. What steps I really took was kind of outsourcing buying of the new releases to other people, right? So when I buy it online myself, I'm only able to get, let's say, 5, 10, 20 pairs at a time, right? But I might be able to buy it at a little bit of a higher price from people that are also getting it for retail. So I can combine, 20 pairs from here, 50 pairs from here. Then I might be left with 300 pairs that I can go and then sell on the secondary market. All
right, dude, let's go check out your car, right? It's the fruit of your labor. We get to enjoy the hard work. So why don't we go show you guys, and I got some more questions for you. So. All right, dude, I'm a cars guy. I'm sure a lot of people watching love cars. Was this ever a goal of yours? And what role does it play into business, success, fruits of your labor, etc.?
I mean, I've always liked cars. I thought they were super cool. I've always wanted a nice car. This definitely isn't the craziest car you'll see in Miami because we're in the capital
of
supercars, but I'm really proud of it. Obviously, I paid for it with all the money I made from my business, so I'm happy with it.
And what is it? It's a BMW.
It's a 22 BMW X6.
Fully tinted.
Yeah, of course.
Even the front windshield.
Of course, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. What else is there in this industry that we need to watch out for that could give us a competitive advantage over others?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, like I said, taking care of your customers is important because in this industry, if you don't know, sneakers, there's a lot of fakes, there's a lot of that kind of thing. Scamming is actually pretty commonplace, unfortunately, in the sneaker industry. So you got to differentiate yourself. You got to make sure you're taking care of your customers, obviously staying true to your word, all that kind of stuff.
How do you build that reputation to where I know 110% that whatever I'm buying from you is totally legit? I mean, start from the eBay days,
yeah, for
right?
sure,
Because
yeah.
you're not a big name then.
Yeah.
Different today.
From the beginning, you definitely have to build that feedback and customer relations. So, you know, on eBay, I always made sure people are leaving me good feedback. But as I transition into Instagram, it's all really word of mouth when it comes down to it. On Instagram, I had like a post where people would post their feedback about how their experience was, but mostly it's just dealing with people directly and making sure they have a good experience so that when someone else wants to do business with you and they have a mutual,
right,
they can ask them about how their experience went and everyone can say that it went well.
Let's go check out the old store.
Okay.
You know, we mentioned it a couple times,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I really want to see it, take a look at it, and go from there.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so we are at the original location of Hyp
Yes,
Miami, right?
yes, this
Anything
is-
you want to highlight about this place, location, certain blocks that we're within, and so on?
So we're in Coconut Grove right now, still South Florida, mostly South Miami, I should say. But we're in front of the old store. This is the roots of the retail side of Hyp Miami.
That's pretty
Our
cool.
first store. I was looking in this area. It's a very affluent area, very nice area that has come up recently in Miami. And this is the space we ended up having for a year.
How did you settle on the space? Were you looking for this particular location, or were you looking for a certain demographic, or kind of take whatever's available at that point?
So at that point, I mean, there's obviously different sneaker stores all across Miami. So I wanted to go into
Oh,
a
I
place
see.
where there
Yeah.
wasn't any competition. I could take over that area. And when I came here, like I said, for school, I noticed there was no store even nearby that was, you know, selling the things that we are.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I decided that there was an opportunity here. You know, I met a realtor and we got to work.
Tell us about Yuri a little bit more and what he brought to the table as a business partner that you couldn't.
There was a point in time where Yuri would get a new release, you know, a couple hundred pairs sometimes, and before we even agreed on a price, he would drop it off in my warehouse just because I literally would buy everything off of him. So there was a point in time where it only made sense to kind of partner up because we were both looking for that next step. You know, I told you how I took the next step to wholesale. I was looking for that next step, which was the retail store. I knew that I couldn't do that venture alone. Yuri was, you know, the perfect guy. I'd been working with him for, you know, quite a few years.
It's a
I
perfect
trusted
match,
him.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And we actually merged both of our businesses, our wholesale, and we opened the store together. I remember I came to him about my idea to open a store because I was already down here in Miami. He was still up in Philly. And he was like, yeah, you know what? Like, I definitely need a change of scenery. You know, I think he was like 24 at the time. He's like, yo, I want to move to Miami, you know, start this business with you. And yeah, it all went from there great.
So if it wasn't Yuri in the picture, with what you know now, how would you be looking for a partner? Would it be convention centers? Would it be some other avenue?
It's got to be someone that you've done business with for years, that you trust, you know, that you know personally as well. There's a personal side of things as well if you don't click with someone.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that goes into it.
They
but-
know about you. They know you've been doing at it. Maybe they'll reach out to you and say, hey,
Exactly.
I want to partner up.
Exactly.
So it all makes sense.
Yeah.
As a business owner, take the big picture. What have you learned as far as mistakes made in the past?
Mistakes made. I mean, there's
Yeah.
a ton of mistakes along the way, small
sure.
and big. You gotta make sure that you trust whoever you're, you know, purchasing off. I've gotten scammed last year, probably just over $10,000, $15,000 of just people running away with your
that's
money.
for real.
Sometimes extending credit to certain people. When I sell in bulk, that's a big problem. Sometimes you have to collect, and it becomes an issue. The problem is that the money's still not in my account. Yeah, you just gotta really develop a trust with certain people and make sure you're protected, basically.
Besides just a normal relationship aspect as far as developing trust, I mean, are there systems, tools in place to make sure that that works? Or are you just talking about over time, I trust you, and that's all it's about?
No, there's definitely systems, especially when you're dealing with someone for the first time. A lot of people trust us enough where they send inventory first and then we check it out. We'll pay them after, obviously. But, you know, there's definitely many ways of protecting yourself. PayPal offers a protection service, American Express when you're using credit cards. There's a ton of different ways to protect yourself.
All right, what's the most expensive shoe you got here?
I actually have a cool one. I'm gonna show you. Let me get it real quick. All right, so this is a pair of Dior Jordan 1 lows.
Oh, wow.
So this is a used pair. We don't sell used sneakers here, but I made an exception for this one
Just
in
for this
particular because you know Aiden Ross, the popular streamer, he had these shoes actually custom made. You can see the diamonds, AR, his name on them, made for him, and he actually gave them away at the mall to one of his fans. And that fan turned around and sold them to us right away.
What did you buy it for, if I can ask?
We bought them for around 4,000 used.
Gotcha.
This shoe, new, can fetch upwards of 7,000, 8,000, sometimes 10,000 if it's a bigger size.
Wow.
But yeah, so it's definitely a rare shoe, especially with the diamonds and the Aiden Ross effect on it. Definitely a cool and exclusive shoe we have right now.
Come find him at
Hyp Miami.
Miami.
You already know.
There you go. How much impact do you think, positive or negative, has your age had on you getting started? I mean, you know, as a 16-year-old looking to lease space or just selling stuff, right? I can imagine getting some objections or stuff like that, but what's your journey look like?
Honestly, I've definitely had to deal with that, especially even coming to Miami. In my opinion, I don't think age has any effect on anything. It's all about what you know, who you know, all those kinds of things. In the beginning, definitely people turned me down, literally just based on my age, which it sucks, but it's the reality, and I kind of worked through that. For example, when I moved to Miami, I was looking for space for rent for the store, and I didn't know anyone, any realtors. I literally made a cold call to some number that was on one of the buildings I was looking at. I called him up, told him my story. He loved it right away. He was like, yo, this is awesome. Like, I want to hear more. We got to kind of know each other a little bit, and he truly did believe in me, and I'm really grateful for that, because most people wouldn't really believe in me or trust me that I would, you know, I'm anything. Really,
Yeah, so don't get stuck on the objections necessarily.
Yeah, I think you just got to find the right people. I mean, for example, like the warehouse lease, like it worked out in the store, but the warehouse, for example, like there was a few that they were just like, why is this 16-year-old kid leasing a 2,000 square foot warehouse? And he just turned me down. But I don't know, everything happens for a reason, in my opinion. We got it done. Same with the store, so can't complain.
You have a business partner, correct?
Yeah.
Tell us about the story. How did you guys connect? What did you learn so far as working together?
So having a business partner has been really awesome. I have to say, I met him, his name's Yuri. So I basically met him through my family. My dad actually was going to a restaurant where Yuri used to valet at. Yuri noticed his cool shoes that I got him, and he was like, yo, I like the shoes. He complimented him. And you know, of course, my dad's always proud of me. He's like, you know, my son has a business, you should check it out. And Yuri's like, yeah, I'm actually trying to start my own at the time. And he checked out my Instagram, he DM'd me, we got to talking. We stayed in contact for a little bit, didn't do much business until probably a year after that. But slowly but surely, we both started scaling our businesses, and we both helped each other a lot in terms of, you know, buying and selling.
He wasn't a partner initially though, right? At which point did that form into an official partnership?
Yeah, absolutely. So initially it was just me buying off him. I mean, at one point it was me, I was his only buyer, and he was basically one of my only vendors, just because of the sheer quantity that he was able to get. So
he already had a prior shoe experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Selling. Yeah, we kind of came up together, you know, scaling our businesses, and continued to do more and more business over time. Yeah.
How did you manage time, school, everything else? What did you learn that you can share with us as well?
Time management is huge. If you don't manage your time well, you're not going to be able to be successful, in my opinion. I think scheduling is really just what it comes down to, is just making sure there's enough hours in the day to get everything done. And if there isn't, you got to shift some things around. Also, delegating things. You know, when you I'm a big proponent of proper systems and proper people to enact those systems.
Well, what kind of systems are we talking about then? I mean, name a few.
We have, for example, in the warehouse, we use an inventory system called Scout. Basically, it makes it super easy to process things that come in. Literally has a barcode scanner, and on all shoe boxes have a UPC, of course. You can scan it in. In terms of accounting-wise, that helps us out as well, because it actually tracks our sales. Has integrations to apps like StockX and Goat that we sell on as well. So there's a ton of different ways.
That's pretty cool. Well, if you guys find yourself in the same situation as Marcus, you've got school, you're overwhelmed with work, with life in general maybe, but do want to start your own side hustle, go to UpFlip.com. We've got a tremendous amount of resources designed and created for you. Even with a full schedule like you could start a side hustle and be successful at it, just like Marcus.
100%.
All right, walk us through the process of renting your first warehouse for the wholesale distribution.
Yeah, so that was actually a fun process.
Okay.
I was probably 16 at the time, and it was my first time really going to, you know, rent anything on my own, and the process was exciting for me. I got to look at spaces, check it out, and thankfully in Pennsylvania the rental rates aren't as high as here in Miami, which is great. So that kind of helped me out. I didn't have to, you know, shell out crazy amounts of money for a warehouse. So yeah, I found a spot that was like perfect size for what I needed. I mean, it was clear at some point that I was growing out of the garage very quickly. The space is about just over 2,000 square feet,
2,000, okay.
And that's including a little office, so when I'm home I can work out of there. Whoever's working there can has a computer, all that stuff.
How many people do you got working out of there?
I actually got one guy full time, and he's just there pretty much almost every day, shipping stuff out,
receiving stuff.
Yeah, it helps a lot because we can have big quantities of stuff there, and then we can just slowly replenish here in the store because if we don't have enough space to hold everything.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. What is your advice to others watching right now who are in the middle of like, do I go to college and pursue a degree? Possibly a lot of debt too, right? These days it's kind of wild. Or do I start a business? What's your story look like? What would you tell them now, you know, in the backdrop?
So me personally, I've been running my business since like freshman year of high school, so I was always managing kind of school and business. I came for my first year at UM. It was great. I enjoyed it. It was a good time. I kept good grades, and you know, my parents supported me in decision, which was obviously a huge factor. And yeah, so that was definitely it. I decided to drop out. But if I were to give any advice to anyone watching, I would say go to college until you can't manage both school and business. In my opinion, you can always have a side hustle on the side and learn in college. You know, there's a lot of value in college education, obviously. But at some point, becomes a time where you can't manage both. Your business is scaling to a certain point where you think it makes sense to go all in. Me personally, I'm an all-in kind of guy. I was never really all in on school, and I was never really all in on business. And that was the turning point where I decided, you know, after that first year, like, I want to open that store and I want to go all in.
We obviously touched on social media many times because that's so important today, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
And that was one of your regrets of not doing it early enough, right? So for somebody just starting out, watching us right now, Marcus, what would be your advice in terms of implementing social media ASAP? I
was happy I started with Instagram because, like I said, I've been doing that since the beginning, but the biggest thing I think is really documenting the actual journey on video, right? Like full long form YouTube videos, that kind of thing. We do a lot of that every single week now at Hyp. You know, we document literally everything that goes on.
You got your own crew,
everything,
camera.
yeah.
Nice, okay.
So behind the scenes of the business.
We'll show you guys that.
If I started that earlier, I think I would be in a way, way better position. And just doing that for a year in terms of documenting everything on video, I think that's gotten me so many key connections in the business beyond just sneakers and other, you know, business realms, that kind of thing.
I would think costs, right? I'm starting out, I don't have a lot of money. Oh man, Marcus, it seems intimidating. I gotta hire video guys. Is that the case, or could you do it relatively cheap and inexpensive as far as documentation, as far as the content creation and so forth?
Honestly, in my opinion, anyone can pick up a camera, not even a camera, an iPhone.
Right.
I mean, in this day and age, most people film with their phone a lot of the time. So I think anyone can do it. It doesn't cost much. It's just a matter of time, like for sure. Like you gotta really, really work on it for a long time.
I would imagine you meet a lot of cool people, cool personalities, maybe even some celebrities.
For sure.
Can you share what you can, maybe across the 6 years, who you've met that really stands out to you?
I mean, I can tell you just in the last few months, we've met some crazy characters. Like, I mean, in the store in Brickell, I've gotten to meet so many more cool people. I mean, usually sneakers and like hip hop go hand in hand. So rappers, a lot of the times we get connected to. Nav was at the store. We had Bobby Shmurda. Bobby Shmurda was actually the coolest, definitely the coolest celebrity I ever met. He's like the craziest energy and just like such a dope guy. So
that's cool. What did this location here in Miami cost you? Walk us through the startup costs and any other details you want to touch on.
In terms of this location specifically, inventory is definitely the biggest cost up front. But a store like this can costed us upwards of $1 million about with inventory and other expenses.
All the build-outs
all
and
that
everything?
stuff. Yeah.
Wow. How did you finance that? If not, it was just cash, just stuff you saved up?
So a lot of our money that we profit from the business always goes right back into inventory.
Right.
So me as well as Yuri, we had most of our money in our inventory in the warehouse. So we either shifted that inventory here to the store or we sold it off to have cash to buy new inventory or to spend on other expenses.
Where did you get the idea of starting a YouTube sort of reality show, right, about this industry, what you do, and how much are you spending a month? Is it worth it currently? What are your thoughts?
So the YouTube, actually, I definitely got to thank my father for that. He has his own YouTube reality show that he's been running for about 3 to 4 years.
Interesting, okay.
So he's in the watch industry, and he basically has a show very similar to ours. Well, I guess ours is similar because we kind of
Copied him?
Didn't copy him. Let's say we took inspiration from him. Since he's had success in the YouTube space, you got to do it. You got to start doing it, start documenting everything. I took his advice. We started this year, 2023. And yeah, almost a year now, we're going strong of posting consistently.
What are you spending per month as far as YouTube alone?
As far as YouTube, in terms of production, marketing, all that kind of stuff, probably upwards of about $10,000 a month.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's not cheap to
No,
produce
definitely
content.
not cheap. That's across everything, you know, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, we do it all. But again, it's a long-term game in my opinion. YouTube is probably one of the, I mean, you guys know, obviously, it's one of the
We're here
hardest platforms to grow on in terms of like, you know, actually getting an audience behind it. So I think it's more of like a 5-year type of plan where we really want to see it pay off.
So when we asked our audience what questions to ask you, a lot of them said, well, a lot of them mentioned that your success is contributed to your dad. It's his money.
Right.
What do you say to that?
So I get that a lot, to be honest with you. And basically, my father, if I'm being completely honest with you, has never invested $1 of his money into my business.
Not one.
Not one. However, I can tell you this for sure. He definitely helped me and grow to the entrepreneur I am today. Like I said, he's a self-made entrepreneur himself. He grew his business over the last 20 years, so he has way more experience than me. And he's definitely attributed to my success in terms of teaching me these things, you know, proper bookkeeping, how to negotiate, how to talk to customers. Even to this day, every day I'm talking to him, I'm asking him for advice. He's obviously way more experienced in business and in general. So yeah, he's definitely helped me a lot.
There you go, guys. What's your revenue across the board now? You've got retail, you've got online and wholesaling, roughly per month.
Okay, so gross, I would say on a monthly basis, like well over $500,000 in revenue in terms between wholesale and retail.
Between wholesale and retail.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Because wholesale makes up a majority of it. Obviously, it's a lot more revenue and smaller margins. I would say in terms of the retail store, anywhere from 100 to 200, sometimes more. Just depends on the time of year. Time of year has a lot to do with retail, obviously. I mean, with wholesale too, but mostly here because foot traffic tends to get really big in Miami. Obviously, during the winter time, that's kind of peak season here, as well as holidays, of course.
What months are those?
I would say October coming up pretty soon, October, November, December. Even into January, we see some of that as well. And those are I would say the highest revenue months for us.
Marcus, I'm sitting here watching this video. I want to open up a shop similar to this somewhere else, not a competitor to you.
Yeah.
And I say, Marcus, where do I start? What are the first 3 steps I should take this week to move in this direction?
Yeah.
How would you educate them?
I would say find your niche. Find number one what you want to sell. There's a lot of different things you can do in the sneaker industry. You know, whether it's opening a store, selling directly to consumer online, whatever it might be. There's so many different ways. Consignment. I mean, there's tons of ways to make money in this industry. See what value you can provide to them, and then eventually you naturally get value back.
Man, it's been a pleasure.
100%. Appreciate you coming out.
Thanks, Marcus. If you're interested in the sneaker industry, make sure to check out episode 155 with the founders of Sneak City, a $4.2 million company reselling sneakers that has grown from a college dorm room to 2 brick-and-mortar locations. Make sure to like and subscribe. We appreciate you guys a ton. Thank you for watching.